happy to introduce our speaker for the month, Chuck Whelon. Take it away, Chuck.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, everybody, for having me back here. It's nice to be back. I'm here in San Francisco in my home studio. And I guess, well, I talked to you about sort of like a career retrospective, a bit what I've been doing into the pandemic. So today I'm going to talk to you about my new book, which it's an ebook right now. It's going to be a print book soon, called Astro Kitty in Earth Space. And well, it's a little culmination of some different things that I've been doing over a little while, and I've got some sort of slides and some videos to show you and talk about. And well, I'm curious to see what you think. I don't know. I've been I've been encouraged along the way in this one. My wife sort of likes it a lot, and I've sort of quite enjoyed doing it. Sort of stuff I found, some things that I had done even like always since I was younger, but I didn't really. I sort of done some stuff and then I didn't, and I've sort of been back and forth. It's sort of bringing together a lot of different things anyway, and I had a lot of fun making it. And we'll see. So yeah, I'll just start by sharing my screen here, and I'll just sort of talk through it. And if I'm going too long, just tell me it's time to go. So I'm not sure I've got a clock handy. All right, so okay, that's right. All right. So can you see that?
Yes.
Earth Space, you're new around here. So Earth Space was the comic I was making in 2018, 2019 as a single panel science fiction comic. And I had a sort of idea about a sort of character, and I was almost at first sort of thinking about it as a strip comic. And, I sort of had an idea, well, I was thinking as a female character, and she was coming to work on a sort of in a menial position on a donut. And actually, look, they ripped me off in that Fallout show because like she looks like she's wearing in Fallout here. But I was very careful not to over-define her at all. In fact, I deliberately changed the character between one panel and another, completely different, just to like not really have it. But it was sort of a character, and I was sort of letting it evolve, or letting her evolve. Should we say? Oh, hang on. Wait. Wait. I think I shared the wrong way. Hang on. Let me start this again. Hang on. Stop share. Hang on. I know what I did. There we go. Share screen. I need to share the app. There we go. All right, same difference. But now I can do that. All right. So Astro Kitty in the Earth Space is what I titled. And I'd done a couple of other sort of Earth Space. I did my Earth Space book of cartoons. And then two ones that are more sort of exploring around it. Earth Space Heroes, all these different characters. And then Earth Space Beyond, where I was going through just sort of all around this sort of idea. Just like I sort of felt like it sort of boiled the idea down in the form of the cartoon, but I wanted to explore around it a bit. And then this sort of character started emerging of Astro Kitty. And so let me tell you like a little bit about how Astro Kitty emerges. This is the cover of the book, Astro Kitty in Earth Space. And yes, she's a sort of piebald cat or calico cat with, leopard prints, which comes from a friend of mine. And everything sort of evolved. But this was right when I was doing Earth Space. I'd been boiling things down to a really sort of simple format in my line. I was, I did all my I did my Pufo comics. That was just sort of doing everything that came naturally. And then I sort of went into, I really wanted to do the illustration children. I had a young child. I sort of got into doing the cartoon illustration, and I sort of did all that. And, I worked at that, and I'd always done comics. And actually one comic I did very early on for a long time was this one called Moon Cat. So I had sort of space cats in there quite early on. Anyway, I don't know. And I thought, okay. And then I broke it down to what's the most simple thing. And I was doing these like Earthlings that were sort of super simple. They were a bit annoyingly simple. And so I had to sort of, well, I don't want to say that simple, but I've got to, sort of building it out again. And I thought about a space and stuff. And I did this. And like I was listening, I thought I like space. And there was some space facts. And I did this one of her, like, space is not for pussies. Which I thought, it's a bit rude. People don't pussies. That's a hot button word these days. But I sort of liked it anyway. I was a bit like, oh, I don't know. All right. Wait, okay, sorry, all right. But I did evolve it into this, and I made it like a cartoon, and it was one of the Earth Space ones, and I put it on the first cover of the first little zine. And people liked it. People liked it. I was like, oh, people like it. Even though it was a bit. And then around that time, I did this super simple drawing challenge because I hate drawing challenges. And well, I want to do them, but there's so much work. I thought I'll do a super easy one. I should do a super easy one. called Cat July, and you just draw the laziest cat drawing you can do. And I was doing that, but some of them were slightly better. Most of them were very lazy. Some of them were slightly better, and I sort of did some of these, I think, around Cat July. I don't know. And I was sort of doing the Insta Girls drawing. I did like a cat. That was a Cat July one, like a punk cat girl. That was, when I was sort of doing this, I was like, oh, I like doing that, and okay, here the Earth space, I don't know, it was another sort of space cat. It's the same, just sort of doodle 2020. I was just sort of trying to be really lazy. I don't know, that one I didn't even think that was any good. That was not even one I developed. So it was just, but okay, there it was, sort of space cat. Okay, but this one, here we go. 723, that 20, that was Cat July. So that one with the black spot on the eye, I sort of like that. I don't know, it's like a sort of what do you call that? Commedia dell'arte or something like that. I don't know. To say. Anyway, but I sort of put it aside and didn't really think about it. And I also had some ideas about a cat and a dog. And I did some more strips on this. But again, it was a bit like, oh, I don't know. I didn't want to be too tied to doing anything. And I did this one, and then people really like that one. I was like, okay, people like that. That's good. I did this one. And this one, okay, it was a really, really crude doodle. And I was like, oh, and I had to sitting there. There's something I liked about it. But I was also, oh, no, people are going to hate that. I'm going to get in trouble. I don't know why. It was too crude. It's too bad. Okay, there's something about the sort of, if you tell me not to draw something, I sort of want to draw. I'm always a bit like that. I can't help that. I don't know, it's a sort of complicated thing, but I like that image, and I sort of did it, and I rendered it, and then I kind of even rendered it quite crudely, and I sort of the paint in the background. It's got a sort of Star Warsy thing, and I like sort of Judge Dredd's face, the cat, and she's sort of very black and, a sort of mysterious image, but very sort of simple and sort of crude in some ways. So I don't know. But I sort of liked it, and anyway, and I put it in a show, like in an art show here, and this lady bought it. Happy about that. I was like, oh, that's a good buyer. That's what person I want buying my picture. So I don't know. I was like, okay, that's good. I sort of like doing that. And okay, and the end of the book, and I also had this one, which is sort of like Astro Kitty appearing again, but not quite where she was. That's the end of Earth Space Into the Radland. So she sort of suddenly pops up at the end of that. And then she really pops into my mind. And this one's a bit naughty. All right, so there's a bit of a naughty aspect to it. All right, well, whatever. It's not that naughty, but okay, whatever. I like this. It was like, oh, and then I very quickly did a whole bunch of drawings like this in a sketchbook like this, and another one. And these ones I put in the book that exactly is like most of the early ones. So this is the first one of those that are actually in this book. And then this one, and then there's a sort of few others I've got sort of from this period like this. Okay, so here's a video of one that I did. And I don't know if you hear the music there, but the music I'll talk about more in a bit. So yes, but this is a band called Charm World and their song Lost Loser. And well, actually, this is quite a good one to talk to you because it opens the album. So I ended up putting together a whole album of these songs, which was sort of done by friends of mine. Like this one came kind of late, but it really fitted the theme of the last book that I did, the Earth Space Into the Radlands. And I wanted to use them for these.
We can't hear the music.
Yes, very quick.
It's
Sorry?
We cannot hear the music. At least I.
Oh, okay. You can't hear the music. Okay, maybe if I turn the volume up.
yeah, unfortunately, it's probably just as well for copyright issues and whatnot.
Yeah, it's probably problematic. All right, so that may be problematic. Well, I can talk over it. I think, okay, I do have copyright license for all this music. I went through the whole process of licensing music from my friends, like having an agreement, and then it's on Google. Some of them had songs already that were sort of out there. So I learned all about like that process and, ended up producing an actual album, and I made a sort of physical album with all these songs, that's out there, or people can listen to it on streaming, and I just have them to go with my with the drawings when I do them. So a process of recording them like that one. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Here's another. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Any more questions? Let's see. Here we go.
So I have a question. Are you doing all this analog, or is
Yes.
any of it digital?
No. Yeah, you can see there's no underdrawing on a lot of these. Sometimes there is. On this one, no underdrawing. Yeah, that last one, no underdrawing. I'm just going straight in with a pen and doing what you see and recording it. Then the final, like maybe I've scanned it, and maybe like the colors on the final one, like have had some digital process on them from the scan.
Well, didn't you do some of the Earth space coloring digitally?
Yes, there are some digital pieces in here.
Okay.
So yes, so these are some more of the early ones that I was doing. Okay, and then the music kind of goes quite all over the map too. So here's a. So I sort of realizing that I could sort of take anybody, any sort of drawing, like I was sort of doing these sort of model drawings. I realized, well, I could sort of, kind of slap a black eye and a black and cat ears and a tail and the spots, and suddenly anyone could be Astro Kitty. And I always sort of like that. And I'd done the band already, and then so I'd had Astro Kitty in the Earth Space 5 as one of the bands on the album. It was really just one of my friends with his keyboard. Oh, here's one. I don't know. Here's one Astro Kitty 1666, where she's some sort of Puritan witch here. She's been out goose hunting. I don't know. I like that image. And I can't really explain it too much. There's like hemlock down here. I like doing the fantasy art. My friend James West, he's got a really sort of simplistic style that I love, where the elements of that, or Errol Otis or someone, and or Vaughan Baudet, I suppose. I mean, I don't try to copy that or any of those, but just there's sort of something about like trying to get something very sort of simple, but something different. So this was another quite early one I did. So that's sort of different. So those other ones were drawings of like taking a sort of model drawing and making it into Astro Kitty. This is like, oh, what if I just sort of make Astro Kitty this, or whatever. I mean, yeah.
Chuck, when we're looking at you drawing the ray gun,
Yes.
or cityscapes or rocket ships, is that Vaughan Baudet's influence, or are you also influenced by Mobius?
I'm influenced by Mobius. I'm influenced by Sergio, but it's more like, okay, there's something of the heavy metal guys. I saw a video of them talking about they would do this sort of automatic drawing where it didn't really have to be anything. It was sort of alien kind of thing, and they would just sort of let themselves go. Ooh. So it's a bit about that idea, trying to find that somewhat.
Can you share that with me later?
Yeah, I'll try and dig that out. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but some of it is just like, I don't know, just me being a bit naughty. I just wanted to do. But also I guess I do know I was sort of getting encouragement at home, and like, so I was like, okay, that's good. I was having fun doing it, and just mixing it with the music and just drawing them and just having fun, just sort of looking like, oh, here's a pose of a model. I kind of like, it's got a certain kind of attitude. It's a bit cheeky, but then I sort of mix it up and make my own silly things about it to make it sort of funny. I don't know. And then, okay, then I put it in the book, and like, okay, something like this, I feel like, oh, it needs a little bit more. So I just have some fun, like coming with the text. All right. So again, like I did in my last book, I played around a bit with ChatGPT just to sort of mix the sort of digital text and the sort of inanity of that in a way. But then I'm changing it so that it, it twists it around a bit. So I don't know. Again, it's just, I'm just sort of just having fun, and trying not to get myself in too much trouble.
Are you enjoying this because you're doing automatic drawing with no underdrawing compared to the strips and illustrations you do?
Yes, it's been sort of part of that to get back to that. I mean, part of cartooning is doing it quickly. Part of it is, you know, banging it out, getting it, you know, like doing panel like a story. You've got a story to tell. I mean, there's so much work. I mean, you can slow down and craft it, but yeah, and then you can become one of these artists who spends a month painting a picture or a year painting a picture. I don't know how long are you going to spend on it. You know, if you get the you get the feeling right, then you sort of got it right the first time. And then going over it doesn't necessarily make it better. Although these have some process to them. Like, so this one, I mean, did have they do, this isn't just nothing. I did do a sketch. It's one of the sketches in the book that I, you know, applied a process to it. So I like, okay, it was sort of okay in the book, but I thought, well, you know, I'll sketch it out and it's pencil, ink it and do it. So yes, so this one had a bit more, but not too much, not where I'm like really redrawing it or really trying to figure out the anatomy in any correct way. You know, when you look about it, but I like the sort of illusion of where it's sort of like, oh, it looks right, but not right. It's like a cartoon drawing or a real drawing. Like the cartoon is very sort of simple, and then again, like on itself, I didn't know, but then when I wrote some funny little bit about like, so like Astrid Kitty was in Paris for like a month, right? And I just then that made it better for me. But maybe that's just like, you know, my problem. And actually just basically French. Okay. All right, here's another rock star. This is when Astrid becomes the nastiest guitar girl in rock. And this is another weird pose. You know, I know that people get upset when guys do this sort of twisting. But I found this drawing of her, and she was, I mean, the photograph of the model, and she was really twisting hard. So I had to give it a go. Sorry, John. But that's not what I, you know, that's not what I want to be doing every day in like my comics and stuff. Like I'm just sort of having a play around here. You know, and then sort of doing it like, okay, where am I going? Like here, this thing and that thing. And then making the video.
Is your typography influenced by Von Baudet?
That's more just how it comes out. A little bit, but more just how it comes out. I've just sort of always done it over the years, sort of my own way. I remember quite young, sort of putting things into boxes and doing it that. So I can do that sort of box writing, but then I do. It's almost like deliberately not. You know, Nate Pykos, who does Blambot, who I love him, and you know he's made amazing fonts, but he's always in my head, like telling me I shouldn't be doing it like that. And the more he's in my head telling me not to do it like that, the more I want to do it. Well, then I get it, but then other times I'm like, okay, no, you know, yeah, okay, I got to sort of do it more properly. I mean, this, I don't know, but I'm quite enjoying just the sort of mucking around here, a haiku.
You seem to have a lot of knowledge of costume.
Oh yes, okay, thank you, Johnny. Yes. I got really actually part of it. I got quite into the drawing and the costume, and all right, have always had a complicated relationship, I suppose, with clothes a lot in my life. You know, being disabled, my disability is very hidden. I sort of try to mostly blend in, but I sort of have also always want to wear my own sort of thing. I like to wear, you know, t-shirt and jeans. Really, I'm sort of fairly sort of adamant, you know, like sort of simple. I was quite when I went to Italy and I lost my luggage and I went in, I said, oh, I like t-shirt and jeans. And I goes, semplice. And I was like, yes, semplice, semplice. But I found when I started drawing more the life drawing and the models, and I don't really recall this from when I was younger, but when I was drawing them now, I got very interested in the details of the clothing. And like, oh, which I wouldn't really see until drawing it, you know. And I suppose sort of drawing comic stuff, I'd look at that and I know with people always kind of like the medieval aspect. I didn't have to think too hard about everything's just sort of medieval construction. But you know, that's sort of in my family. My grandmother was very into sort of clothes and clothing and things, and you know, sort of, yes, so I don't know, and whatever. So I like, you know, clothes. My wife's very into clothing and fashion and stuff too, and she was responding to that a lot in my drawings too, you know. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know. So you know, I sort of got, yeah, so I sort of got into that and just sort of thought about that, and maybe for not having not really thought about it. Although I do have a big book of historical costume that I've always referred to, you know.
Have you ever done any fashion designing?
No, I would say this is my first go. Well, this is not this. Some of it's mine, and some of it's like looking at other people's. Yes, but I know it's all a bit mine. But yeah, no, I never would have done it. Yeah, I don't know. Because the thing is, I'm not a great model. I'm not like, I'm not graceful. You know, I found like cartooning, I have more control over my environment. Right. Okay, I'll put this one. Yeah. So yeah, so Astro Kitty can sort of go around all through time and space. And here she's like an agent in time. You know, gets a little bit of my love of things like Doctor Who and all that in there. I don't know. But yes, this was another, it's a nice pose. I like the pose and the costume. And then I didn't really know, and then just trying to draw it in the most easy, natural way possible. But again, this one did evolve a little bit, yeah. Okay. All right, this song is by my friend Chris. It's a bit naughty. Again, I didn't have to put it on there, but I sort of liked it. And it's, all right, I'm having my cheeky phase. I don't know what to tell you. And then I think the dialogue on this one, I didn't in the book. It's got like, it says, Astro Kitty's a dangerous space alien with chameleon-like powers. Do not approach, you have been warned. Previously to that, it's been saying, oh, Astro Kitty this and Astro Kitty that. Astro Kitty's great that, Astro Kitty's great that. I don't know. Yeah, Astro Kitty she may be dangerous. She's very dangerous. Okay, here's one.
Are you using like a number 2 round most of the time?
Sorry, what's that, Donna?
Are you using a number 2 round most of the time? Brush?
Oh yeah, yes, a sable, like a Winston Newton sable, or like I liked quite a lot. I'm using the dip pens. I'm using the sort of speedball dip pens, which are more for lettering. They're sort of cartooning ones, I suppose. I quite like those. I have used when I used to do Poofle, I used to use more squishy nibs, but I realized that they're not my best. I think I like brush best. I'm sort of, the older I get, the more I'm just about brush. I like all the comic stuff in brush. And you know, I've got some of the best ones. But yeah, I was sort of playing around with that a little bit, and just all these, you know, yeah, you can see that I'm using that dip pen here quite a lot. That's sort of fun for a nice, you know, I sort of whiz along very happily, doesn't it? Not this fast. That's why I like recording it. It's so much nicer. I can sit back and oh look, I'm doing it very easily. I'm usually sweating it a bit more.
Chuck, how
I have to
deeply
ask
were you?
you are recording it. What program are you using? How are you recording as you draw?
Okay, so I've evolved this a little bit with different setups, but I've got a sort of drawing board in my garage there. I've got a sort of more wet working area, like in here's my more dry and computer area where I do my pencils sort of the window or whatever. And then I'll go out there and I got the camera set up and I've got my sort of paints and inks and things. And I've got a little setup and I've been, you know, doing the live stream there on our YouTube at Earth Space channel. And, you know, just again, just trying to really go in and do it in front of, you know, just do it live without it was a minimum amount of underdrawing or prepping just to really push my skills.
So are you using like a smartphone or a laptop, or how are you actually filming it?
These ones are all done more recently I bought a fairly decent webcam called a Razer Kio. I bought a couple of them. I had one and then I bought a couple more, and I have it sort of set up on in the end I found actually a bendy one worked the best. So it's sort of bendy, but because I'll change it and I can twist it. It's a little wobbly, but it's all right. I don't know. I mean, some people do. I've seen with super rigid setup, but I feel a little flexible. I think I need, because I do one thing and then another,
Chuck,
and then
do
it
you
goes
mean
into a laptop.
Chuck, do you mean a gooseneck stand for the webcam?
Yes, it's sort of clipped to the top of the board, like a long gooseneck comes over, and like, you know, yeah.
Okay.
Can we see these someplace with the music? Do you have a YouTube link?
Yes. So if you go to YouTube at Earth Space, URF, Utah Romeo Foxtrot.
Actually, Chuck, real quick, just if you do have that website, if you go down and chat and
yeah.
you type that in really quickly, then we could copy it and take a look at it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chuck, do you have an extremely intelligent, good-looking son who helps you with some of the tech on this?
Yeah, he's usually quite good at that. Okay, here we go.
Take a look at the chat.
Thanks.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know if they always have the ats in there or not, but
Okay.
those are the best.
Oh, excellent. So we're basically looking for Earth space.
Yeah, Earth. Well, beautiful. He used to live on planet Earth.
Oh, okay.
It sort of grew out of that, really, I suppose.
Do all the people here know what Pewfell is? Do you want to show some of your latest work?
I don't have that handy. I'll talk about that next time, if there is a next time, if anyone ever writes. But I'll tell you why, Dale, because I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have it here, and I've got a lot of setting up to do with that, and I'm sort of in the middle of this other project, and that's my previous webcomic. Yes, and it's currently that's running at Pewfell. I did talk about that last time I was on, so you can see the previous time I was on. But yes, that's still popular. It's still my bestseller. I am revisiting that. And I have started. I'm starting on a new epic. Dale's rushing me to start it a little sooner than I planned, but all right, you've got to start somewhere. I would be itching to start it. But I had to get this project finished, and now it's finished. I got to tell somebody about it, so that's what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Great. We appreciate you taking a moment to show us where to find that.
Well, it's really nice for you to have me on, I think. Thank you. Yes, so this was the album that I put. So like I always like the gorillas, like Jamie Hewlett, Tank Girl. That was a big inspiration to me, like Judge Dredd. He was the coolest, I thought. And when I first came to America, I had a Tank Girl t-shirt. People go, oh, the Tank Girl's so cool. And he was very cool. He's done some very cool and amazing things. And you know, and I like the idea of the gorillas and Blur. And I thought it was funny because Blur were really annoyed that they weren't successful in America. They'd be like, oh, you know, America, they don't like us. But they teamed up with Jamie Hewlett, and individually they weren't, but together they cracked it. And I do love that idea that they can have a cartoon band and anyone can be in their band. The only ones I'm really sure about are Astrid Kitty and Henrietta Quinn, and you know some of these other ones they come and go. This guy's a bit like Gabe, the Toad guy. He's a bit of a character on a British cartoon show, but they didn't have the USA hat. I just put that on him, and I gave him more eyes. All right, anyway, they're all there. They're the band. And then we got on the radio, there's a guy in San Francisco, DJ Dynamite Holdaway, who I used to know from the webcomics world, zine world, really. And he would organize the East Bay Pirates, which was like a collective back in the early days when I was doing Pewfell, still as a black and white zine. And he saw I was doing this and he said, oh, I'm a DJ on the radio now. And went and did that. He had a really good DJ voice. So that was very cool of him. And I went on, and these were some of the bands and the people, sort of friends of mine and people that I met. So I was like, oh, it was just it was a fun sort of little journey putting that together, sort of for a year, I guess. It's sort of from start to finish. And nice. Yeah, so
nice.
Just getting outside of the normal everyday. All right, now so here's the other character then who emerged, Space Gen. So this is the cadet who sort of come in, who's sort of Astrid Kitty's friend, and like. Well, Dale likes to talk about everything in terms of Peanuts. So she's more like Charlie Brown, where Astrid Kitty's like Snoopy.
Well,
I mostly just said that to annoy Dale, but it's sort of true.
It's all Peanuts all the way down. Actually, I think it's Turtles, then Peanuts. Chuck, are you using Higgins Black Magic ink?
Well, you can get me talking about ink. I think I am here, but I realized that Black Magic is way too sticky. I don't know. At some point, I read, "Oh, you should use it because it's the blackest black." And that was before everyone went crazy about who's got the blackest black. But you know, I thought, yeah, I want to have a nice black for my comics to reproduce or whatever. But then I realized that only recently I realized that it was that black because it was made to draw on film, and it's really very sticky. Because Higgins conveniently make all their inks in exactly the same bottles, so you can't tell. But I had purchased and used the non-waterproof ones on some of them. So some of the things I had to end up digitally coloring. But the non-waterproof, I realized, went on way more smoothly. I was like, oh, that was even nicer to use. Wait, well, maybe I should. And then I found out they had the thing in the middle, just regular India ink that wasn't the Black Magic. So I think I bought a big bottle of that, and I'm just using that.
And what kind of ink is it?
Higgins India ink. Higgins. Yeah, it comes in a little bottle, but yeah, they all come in the same bottle. There's the Black Magic, which is that some cartoonists like it for its blackest blackness, but you know, but there's now everybody's got a even blacker black, so I don't know.
Now, don't you do small details using the Pitt artist pens as well?
Yes, and I'll come in and I'll fiddle with the Pitt artist pens, but I'm never quite happy with that. I don't know. Thing is, I quite like doing on the watercolor paper. I don't know, but yes, I will do some little touch. I don't know. Maybe I should use microns or something. I don't know. I sort of stuck with the Pitts because they're India ink and pigmented, and I like that. And Windsor and Newton, so but they're not my. I keep thinking there's something better I can be using. I'm not quite sure what it is. Wait, can I turn up the music? All right, the music is by my friends the Seagulls. That's good. Yeah. Well, I quite like that one. It's another. So yeah, so then I sort of started making, okay, so there's some characters that are Astro Kitty and some characters that are Space Gen. I don't know, it's just taking the drawing. I mean, this isn't really Space Gen, but I said, okay, it's Space Gen. It's just a sort of, okay, I don't know, it's a sort of like a gimmick. I don't want to be too gimmick, so I only do it a bit. I don't know, but I sort of kind of like it as a gimmick, but I realize it's a bit gimmicky.
I got a kick out of the lettering because it looks like something a hippie would do.
Well, I love all the hippie stuff, Donna, from, you know, well, I really like the Freak Brothers, Gilbert Shelton. I liked his humor a lot, all of those Paul Mavrides and Dave Sheridan and what they were doing. Crumb I sort of like. I mean, sort of annoys him, but he's always a bit more he's a bit more loony. I mean, I did like quite a bit of that, but yes.
Actually, that particular fat lettering, if you go back even back to the 60s, every girl was doing it on her peaches.
Yes. Well, I was sort of getting into my girly drawing, you know. I used to I like when girls, like, my hand lettering is terrible, and like, you know, some girls will do this very nice sort of roundy writing. I followed this like lady when I was here some years ago. Well, sort of as I was sort of getting into this process, so I sort of did work on my lettering a bit. I sort of deliberately let it go again, but she was a nice lady, and she was telling me how to do it properly in a nice way. And I was sort of getting into quite that for a bit, but I'm too jerky. My body, like my disability again, makes me sort of go flying about all over the place.
Well, you do a pretty good job.
I sort of kind of get it quickly, or, you know, I don't know, stable along. I can't. The more I slow down, the more it goes sort of. I don't know. It's just sort of finding the place where it's comfortable, and like, you know, this was like really trying to like what's like really easy, sort of easy but fun, and like actually, I'm actually getting a good result that I'm happy with.
Understood. I actually like the earlier stages in your art. I think a lot of artists are like that. When you first start to sketch, you get the first color down, and there's something very vibrant about that.
Yes, I think with some of the rendering, I was sort of getting a little over heavy on some of these. I don't know. Yeah, some of it was sort of going back. Yeah, this one. Okay, this is a good one. Like some people really like this one. I kept like not wanting to do it because I just I thought I did really well like with the sort of inking, and then when I came in and painting it, but again I was sort of it's hard to explain because I'm almost deliberately not trying to do it well. I'm trying to almost see how badly I can do it, but still be okay. if that makes
You're
sense.
failing
With the
miserably.
intention that eventually I'm going to do something where I'm working at it a bit more hard. More proper.
Well, Chuck, if it makes you feel any better, I think that you failed here.
Yeah, he has absolutely failed at making it look bad.
All right, well that does make me feel better. if Dale thinks that, I feel a lot better.
I know.
My job isn't to make you feel better, dude.
You got him on this
was sort
show.
of right before I went into doing the paintings that I'm doing now, and Dale sort of been hinting. I think, yeah, I don't know what I did. I was like, oh, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing, but I don't know. But then other people see it and they go, oh, I love that, and they like that one best. And I'm like, okay, I'm no one. I can't judge. I sort of like it. There's something about it. I don't know. I was. All right, I did it deliberately. All right, okay, I quite like this one.
Nice.
That's fun.
Yeah, she was like there. I was like, oh, she's sort of cool, sexy model. She's looking good, but it's just silly, you know. She always, I always dress like this. I often dress like this. But also, I
Chuck,
just
do you think you're
that's nice. I could just be a scribbler.
do you think you're
Thank
going
you.
back?
The
Ugh.
punk girls give me permission to do that, so I quite like that. Yes. So, Henrietta Quinn. She's the mysterious other member of the band. I don't know much about. Okay, so this is what I was going to say. This is what I thought. I with costume, I thought I can steal from AI because I found an AI drawing. I thought, what if I draw the AI drawing? And I was quite happy how it came out, but I realized that their costume doesn't make any sense. It's sort of so weird, and so actually, it was sort of really hard to do it. I sort of had to. I ended up making it up and making it all spacey. All right, so that was fine. But I sort of quickly didn't like my idea of trying to steal back from AI because it wasn't fun to draw it. It was like, you're like, It's sort of, and it made me sort of, again, it was sort of one of those things that sort of got me like, thinking a bit even more about costumes and stuff. Yeah. All right, you know, so then Astro Kitty and Space Jam have this bizarre relationship. There they are out together, probably in San Francisco. That one again, the models. This was okay. So now I sort of starting to muck around with painting a canvas, and I'm sort of throwing this one in here because it's one of the first ones I did. And again, just like how can I know that it's working? I didn't really like it, but Tina's like, oh no, that's really good. Other people said, oh, it's really good. So okay, it's in there. I do like it, but then I also like, oh, I should have worked on it harder or something.
I like the motion in it. It's got a wonderful swinging walk to it. You can almost feel him walking toward you.
Yeah, that's it. They're like walking. Yes, I really try. What I think I learned with the cartoon is like your emotion, like what you're trying to convey, sort of comes through. So it does convey what I want to convey, even though I'd like it to convey it in a more from having read too many how to draw cartoons, saying you have to draw like this, and probably not enough art school. So part of this is like, okay, just being a bit more like that. But all right, I love Star Wars. This is just having some fun with that. Again, that was a sort of kind of a crude doodle, but I liked it. Yeah, so these sort of would start as a crude. This would start as a crude doodle. Okay, and then these are some of the comics. And my friend Amber wanted to. I needed some. Well, see, I hired her to help me color them in. So she went with she had like some quite bright colors. So I just doubled down on it, and I was like, okay, you know, I like because she was just doing the flats, and then I was sort of finishing off. But I quite like how wacky she went on the colors. So, but
Chuck,
these
do you mean Amber Greenlee?
Yes, you know Amber Greenlee. Yes. So I don't know. This was again one page of scribbly comic I did. I hadn't done any comics. I'm thinking about doing Poofle. I'm warming up Poofle. Dale wants me to do Poofle. I'm like, well, I'll just do a couple of Astro Kitty comics and just sort of define the characters a little bit, which I did, you know. And then I do a few. There's somewhere that's sort of Astro Kitty and Space Jam. Okay, yeah, this is a cheeky one. Okay, but oh yeah, this one came out very good. Okay, this one I did all with the brush. So this is why I should do more with the brush because yeah, generally. I'm not sure. I have to go see it, but I did. Okay, then I came with the pen too. Yeah, yeah, all right. Yeah, that one. I felt like that one came out real good. I don't know. The model was like there. I made it Astro Kitty, and I just put Space Jam in the background. So. All right. Well, you Okay. There you go. That's the sort of fundamental relationship. She's a bit like, okay. She's like the rest of us. How can I be more like you? And you can't really be like Astrid. You could buy a space bike. But if she bought a space bike, it wouldn't end well. So. Okay, here's me inking a page. They'll probably like this one. I'll be doing it all the time here. This is the only one of these I filmed, but I did do a few. Okay, so I do some work with Goodman Games. Doug Kovacs, he's the sort of lead artist there. He was berating me a little bit, saying, "Oh, if you film it, you're taking away from the goodness of it. You know, it's better not to." And I sort of know what he means, because it's a distraction that you sort of don't need, and you're sort of aware of the eye looking over your shoulder. And I've been really sort of working to sort of eliminate that. But it's more about sort of getting used to it. And I think he's still sort of right. If I just sort of work without the camera, work quietly, I'll probably do it better. So,
Doc, am I correct that you actually did a drawing, scanned it, and then printed it in red line onto a piece of Bristol or watercolor paper? That one had an underdrawing.
yes. So comic, yes. I mean, I have to have an underdrawing for comic. I'm trying again. Yes, my general method is to draw in red pencil, then draw over that in regular pencil, like a HB or a 2B or something. 2B, I like 2B, but HB is usually then I'll scan that in, and I found I can drop the red pencil out, boom, very quickly. The red disappears. And then what I'll do again is I'll print it. I'll then manipulate whatever I need to do digitally. You know, I'll probably, like on your first drawing of a panel, I mean, I guess, you know, some panels, everything's just going to come right in place. So there's usually a little sort of tweaking of the page layout is needed. You know, nowadays, digitally, that's easy. I mean, I'm trying to sort of do that less, but, you know, I think it's certainly in the old days, you'd have to sort of put it in a photocopier or redraw it or do something. You know, nowadays, all that stuff's a lot easier. So I'll draw it very much with that in mind. And I've seen like cartoonists or like comic guys who they'll get their script and they'll just sort of draw the panels on the side of the page. And you can sort of do that really, and then you can sort of assemble it a little bit. But I try and think of it like these was sort of thinking as a whole page. I always try and have a punchline at the end of the page. I probably should have put more comics pages in of the page, but you'll have to get the book. Here's one done on the show where this is with no underdrawing. So this is just going in, but this is a Sharpie. Sharpies, it's a little easier to do it because they're a little more friendly. But they don't have that archival quality. But yes, here am I defining. Okay, so I had some fun with this one. This was based on a band called the Rum Kicks, who are like a sort of K-pop band. And I actually sort of looked them up a bit after I drew this. And I saw that they'd been like a more regular K-pop band, but that wasn't really working out. So they reinvented themselves. It was a more funky K-pop band. That seems to be doing much better for them. And I kind of like them. And I sort of do it, and they were good, the three, because I had the trio in the band. So I drew that for a sort of holiday picture with them. But then I was following them after that, and then I saw they were coming, and they came here and they did a good job. And they did a really great job. They played this very hardcore sort of punk show over in Oakland. And they did great. And I went up to them afterwards and I gave them the original of this picture, which they were a bit confused. They were very nice about it. But then I made, like, my friend came and we got a little video of me giving them this picture. But yeah, I don't know. I like the look, and yeah, it was interesting. I mean, yeah, they were three girls they were working very hard. I mean, they were young women, you know, working hard, and you know, coming here, and their first time in America, and they were playing all these crazy shows. Which I thought must have been kind of fun, because I'm sure there wasn't, like, you know, the sort of punk scene you get over there in the East Bay. Probably not like what's going on in Korea. But I think they were probably playing like sort of bigger shows in Korea. And they were at this little place. But all right, so there you go. That was that drawing. I don't know what they thought of it. Okay, this one's just one without painting it a bit. This is my friend's nice music. Deal with it.
The other side, be with you.
Jim, are you using German pan watercolors you can't remember the name of?
Well, I think Dale knows the answer to this question. That I've got an old set of Pelican watercolors. I just
Oh,
managed
that's
to
right,
find another
Pelican.
one, but it seemed to be the last one of that kind. But this kind was already not the original kind that I liked. That they sort of stopped making. They went from square. They went from rectangle to round. Now I don't know what. I think they do new one's triangle, and I'm like, can you go back to the rectangles? But all right, I quite like that. They're sort of a bit crude. Like some watercolor purists would probably say they were too grainy. And I don't know, maybe the colors are not as I don't know, I should be better at them. I don't know, it's a lighter touch, I guess, is always better with the watercolors. And then, but I'll take it in and I'll digitally do it around. Yeah, this is another one where I was like, okay, I think I went a bit heavy on the watercolor.
Not as an underdrawing, we can see.
Yes, this one had an underdrawing. This is my friend James West again. He had a game, Goes to City. He likes to make little role-playing games, and there's lots of tables, and we were playing, and I rolled out this character, Quanya, which I quite liked. It all comes out randomly, so I drew a little picture of Quanya. And there's I put Quanya's story in there too in the book, so that's. And then okay, so I don't know. Well, if we're running out of time, which we probably are, but okay, so I put a little just more drawings in the back, so it's not all Astrid Kitty. I said Space Gen did some of them, and Astrid Kitty did the others, but I didn't. But the Space Gen ones were like sort of super scratchy. Like these ones were like, oh, okay, but I think I got it. I think I did. It's like, how can I bang them out in that way? Oh, that one I did like at an event where someone was looking at me over the shoulder. She was just a singer. I don't know. That was just nice. She goes, I love my job. I love to sing and dance with my friends. I don't know. Super simply scribbly with paint. I mean, felt tip pens, really. Just like I was using just sort of markers and things. Messed up. I might have been a bit messed up when I did that. All right. But I was sort of deliberate. I wasn't tripping when I was putting myself in the headspace. I saw the picture. I was like, okay, I'm gonna, scribbly draw it. I don't know, but all right. I'm just trying to get the. Then Astrid Kitties. All right. Oh, that one. Did we do that on the show? I think I did that one live with Dell. I quite liked.
I think you
that
did.
Sort of stereo eyes. They're talking about the stereo eyes now. Right? Okay. This one I'm very happy with her. She was one I took.
You didn't do that on the show.
No, I did that one not on the show. So again, without the stress of the show, they're better.
Have you told the people here about your show?
Like, you've got to do it without. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that's the very funky music. That's my the bands. It's all.
Have you told the people here about your show and Amber's show?
Well, I posted about the Earth Space channel, and you can find it. Yes, so generally every Saturday we have a show where we are doing some live drawing, or drawing comics, or doing these things, and Dale's on it, so we talk about Zardoz a lot.
10 a.m. Pacific.
We give tips, we give art tips, and we try and help people. Like, I don't know, as much as we help ourselves. I don't know. I'm learning from Dale. Dale knows it all, so he's always telling me what to do. It's usually Dale sort of berating me, and I'm not listening to it.
Yeah, it's 2 hours of pain.
And we go on like that for 2 hours. All right, she's another sort of crazy model. I don't know. I'm not saying I necessarily think you should get tons of face piercings and all this, but I like that this. She's just really super colorful. She's the frog lady.
Chuck, I've looked at your work where you're doing drawing with a dip pen. I've looked at your work here where you're doing drawing with a pip pen. I've watched you ink pages where you've carved out the drawing with a #3 sable brush. And yeah, I've also looked at your work when you've been doing your kids' books in Photoshop with round brushes. I mean, what do you like the most in terms of line? Do you want just a static one width line? Do you like the liveliness of the brush line? Do you like the semi-life of the dip pen? What do you think about line, or is it just something instinctive and you just pull the tool that you think that will work?
It's hard to sort of say, really. Yes, it's sort of instinctive, like, because I'm using different ones. I'm not like doing them all the same. I'm sort of, it's a little bit look at the subject at this point and which ones. I mean, I've got certain things that I like to use. Like, I think the pit pens are quite good. I like a sort of fairly fat, I'm a little like, oh, the sort of thin lines of the pit pen, are they good enough? I don't know. It's sort of weird. I don't know. It's sort of, it's a sort of contrast. It's sort of, I think that in the end, it's like diversity is sort of something about it. All right, yeah, here we go. I'm just having fun with sort of how naughty. I used to like to do pupil. Pupil would sort of give you the finger, but after a while, I thought, oh, that's probably not good. But I don't know.
Do you happen to have those Goodman Games marginals in the studio there with you, or are they in the garage?
I don't have those. Yeah, they're out in the garage now. Yeah, you want me to show those? That's what you're trying to get me to sort of show all those things. Well, I'll have to come
Well,
back
I
next
just,
time.
the thing is, you're showing so many different, I mean, you have one unified style,
Yeah,
but by using all these different tools and methods, you have all of these different styles that you apply to different jobs that you have. Because there's a difference, even though it's subtle, between your Earth space stuff and then the stuff you've been doing for Goodman Games, and that those marginals, those look like a different style even from your kids' books.
yeah. But okay. What's different with those is that I had to sort of think about them quite hard, but they needed them in a rush, so I didn't have enough time to think about them as I would have liked in order to, like, really craft to like a good joke. Like, I'm not like, none of these I'm spending much time thinking about it. I'm sort of almost deliberately not thinking about it. When I do like pupil or a comic or something, it's like I've got it's a more crafted thing that requires a more thought. This is more about exploring just the sort of experience of drawing, and what do I sort of like, how do I get it? How do I do it sort of very minimally and sort of get an effect that sort of gives me that sort of good feeling.
Okay.
So I
Oh, no,
can't describe it. But I know when I get it. Yes.
well, I just wanted to point out, you've done these different styles. I would argue your kids' books are kids' books. The Earth, space, and Astro Kitty are almost going back to zines and underground cartoons. But those marginals that you did, those were almost New Yorker cartoons.
Yeah. Well, I could be very disciplined. I don't know. Maybe I will do one day. I'll be very good and I'll do New York cartoons. But yes, I don't know. Yes, I mean,
We went to that
I haven't really
lecture.
quite got bored of doing this yet. I'm sort of having too much fun. That's the problem. Like something like this. Yeah, I'm coming with that. Like, yeah, this one's quite effective. I thought I came in. I wasn't caring. I was like, oh, I'm using the markers and I'm using the inks. I don't care. But now if I think about it, I'm like, oh well, if I shouldn't use the Sharpie because that will fade over time. But I made the video. Maybe the video, I'll make it an NFT and it'll be worth $1 million in the future. I don't understand them. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're getting quite near the end now. Here, this one became a cartoon. I don't know. She was in some sort of kitchen. I didn't really draw it. She's like, when are you kitchen? Yeah. All right. It's lovely. High life. All right. Yeah. Just a couple more here, I think. Yeah, she was standing around drinking her high life. I'm not saying that's like a good role model.
Well, we're getting a wonderful history or worldview of the punk scene here.
Well, it's my own view. Here she is. She's a strong knight. I'm like, probably shouldn't be showing that to anybody, but all right, put it out there. This one, okay, yeah, this is the end there. Yeah, she gets. She's gone quite far, but I don't know. But all that stuff, you can take it out, and it's gone away again. So, but I was like, I'm pushing it. I'm talking about myself here. How far am I pushing things? All right, I'm not really going that far. That's the a little bit. I'm going there. All right, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to make it. I don't want to make it adult races. But there's there's a lot of it going around. It's like fun. I don't know what to say.
I know that cat.
Here's the bong cat. He says the end. He's almost really like he's probably like another book or something. I don't know, but he's a cat. I'm quite happy with him. He's sort of
He's got his catnip.
yes, he's cat. He's the bong cat. He says the end, and then we got. I just put this guy in there because I never really did the cat and the dog cartoon that I was going to. I think she forgot about me. All right, there we go. That's all.
That was fabulous, Chuck. That was amazing and entertaining and excellent to watch and eye-opening. And we're so glad we got you back.
Oh, that's really good too,
Even though you had already been on here. And thank you, Dale, for suggesting him.
It was against my better judgment.
I really appreciate it. You know, I just got this finished. It was like that's the first time I talked to anybody about it. So thank you. That's a good reaction. I'll take that to the bank. Thank you.
I think we all enjoyed it.
We do have the show for our sins at 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, 10 Pacific. Sometimes we're not on because one or the other of us is traveling, but come on and chat with us. And it's fascinating to watch him work on a Pew Fell page or a painting, and you can ask us questions.
Yeah, but don't forget the important thing that this Saturday in particular, coming up a week today at 11 a.m., the show will start at 10 a.m. or the video show. If you're in San Francisco, our friends, the Charm World, they're going to play at 11 a.m. And so we're going to start the show. Dale and I are going to start the show as normal at 10 a.m. I'm going to give you a guided. We'll have a studio tour. So we're going to walk around. It will all be nicely set up. There'll be a studio tour, and then I'll do a painting as guests arrive for the band to play at 11, and that will be the Saturday morning show.
Now, is that at that art gallery, or is that at your
that's in my basement,
studio?
Yes.
In your basement? Okay.
Yes. They talk about even coming here, but it'll be sort of more tidied up.
You'll know where the art supplies are for once.
Yes, yeah. Well, Dale will be. Yeah, they'll be. Well, yeah, you're not going to come though, are you, Dale? I don't know. Are you going to come?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, you're going to be. Well, you'll be on the show. You'll be co-hosting.
Okay.
You'll be anchoring the show. Yeah. I need you. I need you anchoring the show.
Chuck, can we plug Amber's show?
Oh yes, and then our friend Amber, who sometimes co-hosts the show with us, she has her own show, which is every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Is that correct?
Yeah, but it's on Twitch. It's art. It's called Philo.
Philo Art
You
Glitch
look for Art Glitch, and I'm going to put that in the chat.
All right. Yes. She's our sometime co-host, but she's got her own show that's very good. And they're drawing a comic panel by panel based on what the viewers send in, and she did it on a public access channel, so she'd be a great guest for you too.
Yeah, get Amber.
Yes, just don't get her and I together, or we'll both be talking non-stop and nobody will get word in edgewise.
I think I know Amber on
Yeah.
Facebook, so I should be able to bother her.
Yes. No, she's great, and yes. Well, we're going to do it. Dale's going away in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have her show where we'll do it together. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if I've done well. It's just be me and her. There's usually a moderation.
Well, thanks everybody for showing up, and I hope people put in their, artwork for the contest, and we hope that folks show up at the drink and draw next week, which is always fun too, and we can just kind of relax and see some more good people.
Yep. Yes, definitely. Thanks again, Chuck, and great watching your work. And
Oh, thanks so much.
Excellent.
I really appreciate it. I love your work, Aldona, and I really appreciate being a guest here. Thank you so much.